So today I'm really excited because I'm doing one of my favorite activities, which is depotting two of my eyeshadow palettes. I have decided that I want to go ahead and depot both of my remaining BH Cosmetics palettes. About a year ago, I depotted my BH Cosmetics Lost in Los Angeles palette, and I now have all of those shades stored here with my magnetic singles. These are the only other two BH Cosmetics palettes that I have. Both of these are also kind of on the more colorful side. We have the Summer in Saint Tropez and the Mimosa palettes. I've always thought that these two palettes plus Lost in LA kind of coordinate well together. And so I just feel like it'll be really fun to be able to mix and match and create maybe little quads or little 9-pans out of these shades. And hopefully the goal is that I will end up just getting more use out of them overall. So what we're going to do today is take apart both of these palettes, remove all the shades, and then at the end of the video, we're going to organize and rearrange these shades within my singles collection. And I want to try and create a few little self-made palettes for spring because spring is right around the corner. February is almost over, and I'm so excited to get into spring eyeshadow looks, and I feel like this is just perfect timing. So because I've already done this with one BH palette in the past, I'm hoping this won't be too difficult. I am going to link below some videos that really helped me get started with this last year from a few different creators. Their names were Anna's Makeup Nonsense, Kendra Morgan Official, and also Lauren May Beauty. So I'm going to link their videos below because it is really thanks to their tips that I am able to do this myself. Before we get started, I just wanted to share some of the supplies that I'm going to need today. So first things first, a good old-fashioned butter knife is really helpful for prying the layers of the palette apart. And then I also grabbed my little depotting tool that I have here. This might come in handy for popping the shades out or scraping off the glue on the back of the pans. Also because BH Cosmetics eyeshadow pans, at least the ones in these palettes, are not magnetic. So I went ahead and bought some more magnetic metal stickers. I actually think these are going to be too big. These are like big round ones, so I'll save those for another time. But I have a bunch of these little small rectangular ones. Basically, these are just very thin magnetic metal stickers. They have some adhesive on them, so you can stick them to the back of a non-magnetic pan and use them in your magnetic palettes. You can also buy these from a bunch of different places online, but I'll link where I got them below. I also got some sticker labels to use on the back of the shades because I decided I do want to keep track of the shade names and which palette they came from so that in videos I can let you know what the shade is. So I got some of those to put on the back. And then lastly, I grabbed some rubbing alcohol. This can be really helpful for preventing the shades from breaking. So let's start with the BH Summer in Saint Tropez. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and cut the mirror off now so that it doesn't break while I'm tearing the rest of the palette apart. I'm wondering if there's a good way to reuse this mirror. I mean, I guess I could just kind of keep it to use as a handheld mirror. So these palettes, as you can see, they are made of cardboard, which makes this pretty easy as long as you don't mind destroying the outer packaging. I won't need to use any sort of heat. Now, if you wanted to be able to keep the packaging as is, there are some videos on YouTube about how to do that. I am not going to do that, but to do that, I think you would probably have to use heat to loosen up the glue and then pry the shades out. But for me, since I want to use these as singles, that will not be necessary. So the next thing I'm going to need to do is remove this bottom layer here on the back. I may actually just be able to do this with my hands. Hang on. Let's see if I can. Maybe not. All right, this is where the knife comes in handy. Just kind of using that to, oh yeah. Okay, we've already got a crack. So, okay, before I go any further, I'm gonna go ahead and put a drop of rubbing alcohol into, I think just the matte shades are the only ones that need it. Those shades do tend to crack kind of easily when you're taking the palette apart. So this will just keep those shades moist while we're doing this so that they aren't as prone to cracking. And don't worry, isopropyl alcohol is totally safe to put in makeup because once this is dry, that means all the alcohol has evaporated. So there won't be any alcohol left in the shadows. You don't need to worry about that. All right, now we should be good to go. Alright, so there's the back of the palette completely removed. So now I'm just going to peel back the layers, essentially, until we get to the base layer, which is actually what the shadows are stuck to. So this first layer is pretty easy to get off. Luckily, these palettes are kind of cheaply constructed, so they're pretty easy to depot. Okay, so hopefully you can see now we are left with basically 3 layers of cardboard here. So I'm going to start by lifting this top layer off. Okay, so the top layer is gone. I have one more layer. Actually, I may not even need to remove that other layer. I think I can go ahead and start just popping these pans out. Okay, this one's still cracked. That's okay. I can just repress the ones that do crack a little bit. But I'm just gonna go through and okay, these mats are not wanting to stay together, actually. They're getting really powdery and crumbly. But that's okay, we can fix them. Yeah, they're still cracking. Yeah, so I am just, it really doesn't take much force to get these out. I'm just kind of gently lifting these pans out of here. I think the problem is this 91% rubbing alcohol is probably just a bit too concentrated. I think it's drying too quickly, and that's why some of these mats are still cracking. So if you can, it's probably better to use like 70% rubbing alcohol for that purpose. Yeah, these mats are cracking way more than I remember when I did Lost in Los Angeles. Okay, all of these shades came out unscathed. These are the ones that did crack, so I'm gonna fix these real quick. This shouldn't be too hard. So to fix these, what I'm gonna do is, again, just take some rubbing alcohol in there, and then a paper towel, and I'm just going to, that was probably a little too much alcohol, but that's okay. Just gonna slowly soak up that alcohol. And I just grabbed something small that's about the same shape as the pan to press the shadow down. And I'm just pressing until I'm not seeing any more alcohol on the paper towel. Ta-da! Now that those shades are mostly fixed, I just need to peel off any residual cardboard or glue from the backs of these pans. Luckily it comes off pretty easily because the glue is kind of soft. And it doesn't have to be perfect because we are going to be putting stickers on the back anyway. Okay, so now that everything has been scraped off the backs of these pans, now I can add my magnetic stickers. So super easy. Okay, so all of these shades now have their magnetic stickers on them. They're ready to be labeled. Before I do that, I want to go ahead and depot the Mimosa palette. So for this palette, I'm going to follow the same exact process. I am going to try to be more careful with the mattes though, because I really don't want any of these to crack. So I'm going to try to be even more careful. So first, I'm just going to cut off this mirror. Okay, so at first I am just trying to go gently around the entire perimeter of this. So I think this is really the step where a lot of the shades can start cracking. So I'm just trying to be super gentle. Alright, so there is the back of that palette, mostly gone in one piece. This one seems to be coming apart even more easily than Tropez. But maybe I'm also just being more careful. Oh no. Okay, just dug my finger into that one. Nice, nice, nice. Okay, so far nothing has cracked. I did accidentally stick my fingernail into both of these shades, but other than that, doing pretty well. So next we just peel back. Really just this top layer, I think, is the only thing that needs to be peeled off. Okay, so I think I've removed enough cardboard to now go ahead and start taking these shades out. First up, still gonna do just a little drop of alcohol to try and prevent any breaking or cracking. Alright, well, a lot of these are still cracking, so I don't know. Maybe these shades just... that's just what they do. Okay, got all of those shades out. Still had a few cracks though, so that's really annoying. This time, in order to fix these, I'm just gonna take a paper towel and my hands and just try and press the shades back together. Because honestly, I feel like that might just be the easiest way, since they're still a little bit moist from the rubbing alcohol anyway. let's see if this helps. Okay, yeah, I do like this method better, honestly. I feel like it's just easier to repress these. Again, scraping off the glue and cardboard on the back. I'm just gonna speed through this part. Okay. Oof. This is hard on the hands. So messy. Also, definitely don't do this if you have like a nice manicure or anything, because your nails will get ruined. Here are all of the mimosa shades depotted. So of course, next step is to add those magnetic stickers. I've just been literally setting the sticker down like that, putting the shade on top, pressing it on, and there you have it. Okay, so next thing, I'm gonna go ahead and label these with the shade names. I pulled up a picture of the palette on the screen so that I could remember what each shade is called. So for each shade, I'm gonna put BH and then ST for Saint Tropez, so I know the name of the palette, and then I'll put the shade name. So this is Crepe. Here we go. Okay, those fit perfectly. Nice. All right, so all of those Saint Tropez shades are labeled. Now, let's do our mimosa shades. I'm actually gonna go ahead and decide the only one of these shades I'm not gonna keep is this white one, simply because I already have the exact same white shade in my Lost in Los Angeles shades. So I just don't need to have two matte white shades in my magnetic singles collection. So this one, I'm just gonna get rid of. Alright, so they're all labeled. Oh, okay, so here are all of my BH Cosmetics shadows depotted. I am so excited to mix these up and arrange them into all sorts of different color stories. First thing I want to see is, can I fit all of these into my big Cliona magnetic palette? If so, that would be amazing. I mean, it looks like I should be able to, but let's see. I'm going to start by arranging these kind of by color family. Okay, wow. That is amazing. So I'm able to fit 8 shades all the way across, and they pretty much take up the full row. There's like a tiny bit of leftover space at the end, but not enough to really bother me too much. So those are all of the like yellows and peaches and oranges. Let's now do some pinks, pinky shades. A lot of pink between all 3 of these palettes, so might need to have 2 rows of pink. Okay, so wow, I love how all these shades fit in here. I was actually able to fit them all in here with a little bit of room to spare. I love this. I feel like this is the perfect magnetic single starter kit, honestly. Like, I love all these colors. We have just a little bit of everything. So on this top row, I put all of the yellows and oranges and peaches, and then these next 2 rows, we have pinks and reds, and then we move into purples. Then here we just have some neutrals, some beiges, And then we move into like some greens and blues. So I love this. I definitely think this is where I'll keep these shades permanently when I don't have them part of other little self-made palettes. So I'm actually going to take all of these out and all of my other magnetic singles that I have in these other palettes so that I can pull together the shades I want for my spring color stories. Okay, so I took everything out now. I have two of these small magnetic palettes. I think these would probably fit 9 to 12 shades depending on the size. So I think it would be nice to do just a couple of little springy palettes with those. For spring, and especially early spring, I definitely think of pastels. Love pastels in the spring. I think of like soft greens and peaches. I love pairing together peach and blue in the spring. So this palette first, let's have this be like a peach and yellow and blue palette. I think that would be super cute. Definitely want to include this pastel yellow. This one is from Summer in Saint Tropez. This is the shade Intoxicating from that one. Also gonna pull in any like soft peaches that I have, and these don't all have to be from the same brand, obviously. This is the shade Vibrant Thing from ColourPop Miss Bliss. That one I think definitely needs to be in here. Also, I have some really pretty peachy shimmers. This is Champagne from BH Mimosa. Can put that one in. Ooh, yeah, that's so pretty. Here's another soft peach shimmer from Lost in LA. This is the shade Malibu. Okay, I'm gonna pop in some pastel blues as well. This is the shade Future Self from the ColourPop In a Trance palette. Okay, that, and then I'm also gonna grab one of these sort of aqua blue colors here. This is LAX from Lost in LA. That one I think will be fun. For just a little more depth, I'm also going to grab this more orange shade. This is from BH Mimosa, and it's the shade OJ, just to add a little more brightness to this palette. And I think it'd also be fun to have a couple more pinky colors in here. I have, let's see, in terms of mattes, I have 2 blue mattes, a yellow, an orange, a peach. Let's also take this one. This is kind of like a mustard yellow peach. This is the shade Crepe from Saint Tropez. I feel like we could use just one soft pink in here. Let's do this one. This is the 405 from Lost in LA. Just to add a little pop of pink. Okay, that's pretty cute. I might rearrange these shades real quick. Okay, that is so cute. I love these colors together. So that will be my first spring palette. Then the other color I love in the spring, especially the early spring, is green. Of course, I mean, I feel like that's perfect, especially for as we get into March. So I think I might just make this be a mostly monochrome green palette. Let's see. Let me pull out all the greens and then we'll kind of narrow it down from there. Greenish colors, please. Calling all greens. Okay, there's not a ton. And then things that I feel like go well with green we'll also grab. Okay, so I have picked out 7 shimmers and 4 mattes, which I feel like is a good ratio. Let's see, I definitely want like a light brown color in here. This is Runyon Canyon from the BH Lost in LA palette. So that can go in first. I have some really pretty green gold duochromes in here. This is Exotic from BH Saint Tropez. Love that color. And then I'm gonna add, let's also do this really fun chartreuse. This is the shade Sunny from Mimosa. It got kind of weird with the rubbing alcohol, but yeah, it got kind of weird and discolored. That has happened before with like the Lost in LA shades that I depotted before. Same thing happened with them. They still perform fine. They just look kind of funky like this one. This is the shade Dreamer from Lost in LA. Really pretty blue-green. Okay, I really do want to include this one, even though it is a big shade. This is Capri Sun from Klarity. Let's just stick that in there and see what happens. Another fun pastel green, this is La Playa from ColourPop. We'll pop that in the bottom here as well. I want to have a slightly deeper matte in here as well. This is the shade Happy Hour from Mimosa. So that can go, it's not going to fit there. Okay, I may need to leave this shade out because I also want to put in this kind of earthy green from Lost in LA. This is Rodeo Drive. Can I fit this? Oh wait, I can. Okay, does fit. It's a bit of a squeeze, but I think that works. Okay, so this is what I ended up with for my green and earthy palette. I think this is so pretty for spring and like St. Patrick's Day. Yeah. Actually, you know what? I'm actually gonna do something a little bit different. I want to take this shade out. This is Rodeo Drive from BH, just because it's so olivey. I feel like this isn't, I don't know, this isn't the kind of color I'm gonna wear a ton in the spring. I'm gonna replace that with a shade I like even more. This is Coastline from BH Saint Tropez. It's kind of similar to that green gold shade, which was, I think, Exotic is the name of it. This one is similar, but it's more of like a mint and taupe duochrome. Really, really pretty. Yeah, I think I like that even better. So that is beautiful. Okay, so there we have it. These are going to be my 2 spring color stories to work with, at least for like the next month or so, and then I may switch these out in a couple months as we get more into like true spring, because I'm well aware it's definitely still not spring, but you know, we can prepare for spring. Okay, so what to do with the rest of these shades? I'm gonna try to fit all of them in this one big Cliona palette. I feel like they should all fit. Let's see. We'll start with the BH shades. Okay, so here are all the rest of my singles. They fit so nicely in here. Really happy that I got this Cliona palette. It's so pretty too. It's perfect for housing colorful eyeshadows because it's so colorful on the outside. So as it stands right now, these are all of my magnetic singles. I love this collection. I love that I have so many colors in here that I don't have a ton of in other palettes. I feel like most of my palettes lean neutral, which makes sense because I do wear neutrals probably like 75% of the time, I would say. But I love playing with color as well, so it's nice to have some options there, but I feel like it makes more sense for the majority of my colorful collection to be in singles like this. And that way it just makes it so fun to put together little mini seasonal palettes. So I am just so pleased and so excited. Hopefully this video inspired you to pull out your own magnetic singles, maybe put together a little seasonal palette of your own and just rearrange the colors. I really want to make a point to do this and put together mini custom palettes every few months or like seasonally so that I can make sure that I'm getting maximum use out of these shadows. So let me know down below, have you ever depotted an eyeshadow palette before? And if so, how did it go? I have only ever depotted BH Cosmetics palettes, and then I've also depotted my Shared Planet Polar Bear palette before, which was kind of similar. I've never tried to depot like a plastic palette though. Those seem a little trickier. So definitely would love to hear your tips for depotting down below. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video and for hanging out with me today. I hope you had fun. If you did, be sure to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. I do also have a Patreon and a channel membership if you're interested in getting some extra content and supporting my channel further. Otherwise, I hope you all have an amazing rest of your day, and I will talk to you very soon in my next video. Bye!